welcome back to another video. So Once a Future Kingdom once again. And so I recently finished my reaction series for 86. And it was a great anime to say the least. I'm really glad I gave it a second chance. I decided to do reactions to it on my channel. And the reaction videos themselves were actually very successful for my channel. Keep in mind, I have just barely over 500 subscribers right now. Like my average for like a good video, if I get like 50 views on a video, that's really, I consider that to be really good. Okay. And I think like one or two of those videos actually got over 100 views. That's like extra really good for me, you know. So I wanted to make a follow-up video here after thinking about the series for a bit longer and sort of talk about the characters in 86, okay? Because I think 86 has one of the best casts of characters that I've seen in an anime in a while. Like, I'm not kidding. I actually have my laptop here because I have the wiki, so I remember all their names. Okay, so first off here we have the protagonist of the series. Let's just Vladilena Milizé. Let's just call her Lena, as I did through literally the entirety of the reaction series. Okay, so Lena is she is one of my favorite female protagonists that I've seen in anime in a while. Okay, and it's kind of interesting because from what I could tell in the like online anime communities, in the discourse, it seems like not a lot of people liked her, and I don't get it. I mean, I kind of get it. I just think it's dumb. Like, a lot of people didn't like her because she was, like, extremely naive and idealistic. But honestly, that's, like, the reason I like her. Like, I'm not kidding. That's the reason I like her. And it's kind of interesting because, for the most part, like, she doesn't... For the most part, her her beliefs I share, like, you know, racism is bad. That's essentially the crux of this series and her beliefs. Racism is bad. Obviously, racism is bad. But, like, the naivety in which she goes about it is not how I would go about it if I was in her position. So that's a trait I definitely don't share with her, but I still found it to be extremely respectable. She kind of reminded me, in a way, of Suzaku Kurugi from Code Geass. In fact, this series shares a lot of similarities with Code Geass. You would not convince me that the author of the light novels was not a fan of Code Geass. Alright? But, yeah, she reminds me a lot of Suzaku Kurugi in Code Geass. If you don't remember in Code Geass, or maybe you haven't seen it, Lelouch is trying to destroy the Holy Britannian Empire from the outside, taking on the moniker of Zero, this masked man, where he wears a mask, and he commands the, what are they called? The Black Knights. It's been a while since I've seen Code Geass. He commands the Black Knights as Zero, trying to raise rebellion against the Holy Britannian Empire from the outside. And of course it means that they have to take a lot of lives, many of which might be innocent. Okay, Suzaku is on the completely other side of things. He wants to reform... Well, he starts out as a naive idealist who believes in Britannia, but later on he sees their corruption, but he still wants to reform them from the inside. Okay? And Lena kind of reminds me of him quite a bit, although I think she's a lot better written. Now, I actually like Suzaku a lot. Okay? But I think that Lena is a lot better written. I think she's a lot more interesting. She's a lot more likable. She doesn't fall into the trap of being extremely hypocritical. I think that Suzaku's actually way more naive than her. Because, to an extent, even before Season 1 ends, I think Lena understands the folly of trying to reform the Republic from the inside. I just don't think she knows what else to do. Like, what is she supposed to do? Is she supposed to leave the Empire, or leave the Republic, and just pal around with the 86 forever, raise rebellion? Like, would she even have the resources to raise rebellion? It's like, in freaking Code Geass, Lelouch had an advantage because of his Gias, which allowed him to control the mind of whoever he wanted. Okay, Lena doesn't have any shit like that. Alright? So, like, if she even wanted to raise rebellion, I don't know how she would do it. You know? So I do have some empathy for her in that regard. But at the same time, she realizes the bullshit in the Empire straight from in the Republic, from episode 1. It's never a bullshit thing with Suzaku where he somehow doesn't see the corruption and bullshit of the Empire for a while, or in that case, the Empire for a while. She sees it from the very beginning, and she makes mistakes too. Okay, she definitely makes mistakes. Episode 3 was really poignant in this regard, where like the guy blows up at her for she doesn't even ask them their names. Okay, which I mean, in Japan in particular, names are extremely important culturally. But I'm pretty sure anywhere in the world, you should probably know the names of the people that you claim to care about. Okay? Now, that definitely doesn't mean that Lena didn't care about them. That's why I classify this as a character flaw. Which doesn't make her a bad person, it makes her human. Because she definitely genuinely cared about them, but she also made a mistake not asking them their names. And that's reflected in Season 2 when with her new squad of 86, she knows all of their names. We don't see the scene where she asks it, but it is referenced that she did ask all of their names. Okay? So she is a very flawed character, but it's her flaws and honestly her naivety, in which are the reasons that I like her so much. Okay? And man, this is another light novel series I have to buy now. I won't be able to for a while because I'm short on cash as it is, but I just got into the light novels, man. I'm not used to them, man. And now there's so many I want to buy. Like, I own all of the English language versions of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. I also want to get Mushoku Tensei, because that series was frickin' amazing. And now there's this. And I'm sure there's others as well. Those are like the big 3 for me right now, though. Alright, so yeah. I actually did think that she was going to leave the Republic, though. Because there was that scene towards the end of Season 1 where she meets a guy named Lev. His name's right here. Lev. And Lev has been seen periodically throughout the season. And he revealed to her at the end of Season 1, he's basically like, he's been working directly with the 86. And I think it was presumed that he was an 86, just somehow lived a really long time. Which the life expectancy of 86 is already very short. And he revealed to her that he was actually, oh god, I forget what they call it. One of the light-haired people. I forget what they call them. But he was actually one of them. Alright, one of her race. But his wife was an 86. And when his wife and daughter were shipped over basically, he made the choice to dye his hair darker and go with it. Which was a really powerful thing to hear. I thought that was going to foreshadow Lena actually doing the same thing, not marrying an 86, although there's a lot of shipping online for her and Shinei. So we'll see. But as of yet, not marrying an 86, but still dyeing her hair darker and leaving the Republic. That didn't happen, although in Season 2 she did get a strand of her hair red to symbolize the fallen, which I didn't think was bad necessarily. I will say I felt it was kind of harsh because, now granted, no one forced her to do it. The 86 didn't push her into it. They didn't even know what she looked like originally. She chose to do it herself. So that makes that detail right there makes that plot point a lot better for me personally. But it's like, I don't know, I just think saying that symbolizing that she murdered the 86 is a bit much personally. I think the other option with her dyeing her hair darker and leaving the Republic would have been much better. But I still like this. I don't think this is bad at all. Alright. So yeah, so that's Lena and also Lev. Alright, I also want to talk about Henriette, which she was an interesting character for a good portion of the first season, well, actually about half of the first season, I think, she was basically just like Lena's scientist friend who she would occasionally talk to, who did checkups on her and whatnot, so probably a doctor as well. But not much more to her than that. But then, like halfway through season 1, she completely blows up with Lena. Throughout the course of the season, she's been telling her she thinks she's too naive and idealistic, basically echoing most of the fan base, it seems like. But in that episode, she completely blows up at her, and that's when we learned that there was actually a incident when she was a child where she was best friends with an 86. Okay, but when it was time for him to be shipped over, she was terrified. All right, and she ended up selling him out. And her father was actually more like Lena, and also more like Lena's father, which both of them were very much had sympathy for the 86 and wanted them to be free. And she, looking back in retrospect, she says she thinks that her father wanted her support, but she didn't offer it. Instead, she sold out her friend, and she's like regretted it ever since. And it seems like she's been like convincing herself that she doesn't care about the 86, that she just considers them to be like tools, disposable, and inhuman, when really that doesn't seem to be the case. Like, she definitely cares. And also in season 2, actually no, towards the end of season 1, we learn that that friend was actually Shinei. And she actually learns that as well, that he's still alive. He's Shinei Nouzen, who Lena's been working with. I don't think Shinei is aware of that yet, though. And I've always wondered, though, if like the two of them ever reunite, or Shin, at the very least, ever finds out that his childhood friend is a close friend of Lena. Let me know in the comments if you're a light novel reader, if this is ever a point of contention as of yet. Anyways, though, I actually really like her character a lot. There's one point that I didn't get, which I've talked about before, where, like, I'm pretty sure I talked about when it happened anyways, where, like, she calls Lena a hypocrite. Okay, like, Lena is very naive and idealistic, yes, but no. Look, okay, I don't know, maybe the word hypocrite means something different in Japan than it does in the West. I would actually believe that because, cultural differences. And also this comes up a lot in anime, where characters who are naive and idealistic are labeled as hypocrites. That here in the West, at least, here in America, at least, that's not what that word means. Okay? Like, being a hypocrite is where your actions contradict your beliefs. And to my recollection, I don't think there's a moment where Lena's actions contradicted her beliefs. She genuinely cared about the 86. There is no question about that. Just because she didn't, leave the Republic and start fighting with them does not make her a hypocrite in any exaggerated definition, any potential exaggerated definition of the word. And again, I see this a lot in anime, so I figured I'd bring it up here. But overall, I really like Gonria a lot. Alright. Aside from those two, though, we also have the 86 themselves. And I don't want to go into too much detail with all of them, because if I do, then we'll be here forever. But several of them die early on. Alright, like there's Haruto, Gaia, and Kaie. And all three of them die pretty early on. In fact, I think all three of them die in season 1, if I'm not mistaken. So we're basically just left with Shin, Raiden, Anju, Kurena, and Theo. Now, I do want to talk about Anju for a second, because in one of my reactions to season 2, actually I think it was my first episode, I commented that I was confused, and that was the first time I even thought of it. surprisingly enough, but like Anju's hair is really light. Like it is literally identical to Lena's. So I was expressed confusion that Lena that Anju is considered an 86 when she has such light hair. And someone in the comments, I don't remember who it was, but if you're watching this video, you know who you are, commented basically telling me that the reason Anju is considered an 86 is because one of her parents is an 86. I forget which one. And because she's a half-blood, she's basically treated the same as the rest. In fact, perhaps even worse, because apparently she had to deal with a lot of extreme harassment and bullying, being beaten, I think even raped, although I could be wrong about that one. Now, there was that one shower scene in Season 1 where she takes off her shirt and shows scars. That happened. But they definitely, and this commenter confirmed this for me as well, that they definitely did not explain everything that happened to her. It was basically alluded to, but not fully explained, whereas they did fully explain it in the light novels. Alright. So, yeah, so that's pretty fucking brutal. So that's Anju. She's probably my second favorite member of the main 86 team. It's like, seriously. I really enjoy her a lot. She definitely comes off as like the mature older sister of the group. I think she's actually the oldest too, age-wise, if I'm not mistaken. I also really like Karina a lot. Even though I did not like her at first, she grew on me quite a bit. She probably hates 86 more than anyone in the entire group. Okay? I think like they killed someone that she cared about or something like that. And so like she's also in love with Shin. But even she like lightens up towards Lena later on. And it is stated that despite what she says, she is aware that not all 86 are bad. Okay? Now, this might be because all of them are completely aware that Lev or not all of the light-haired people are bad. And it's probably because all of them are aware that Lev is technically one of them. Okay? And he actually showed them and said that if they wanted to kill him, he would let them, but they chose not to. But she still gets the most visibly pissed off and audibly pissed off at Lena at the 86. Aside from maybe Theo, but that's only because of the scene in episode 3 when he like really blows up at Lena. Alright. Now Shin is my favorite of the 86, and he's my second favorite character in the series in general. My third favorite would probably be, honestly, Henriette, believe it or not. My third favorite would be Anju. My fourth favorite would probably be Henriette. Alright. Shin is a lot of fun. He's very, very stoic, but he's a really well-written stoic character because there's clearly emotion in there. He's just bottled it up even more than the rest of the 86. But there's clearly something there. And it comes out a lot, especially during Season 2. Okay. Like I said, there's a lot of shipping online between him and Lena. I don't know if that ever goes anywhere in the light novels or not. But it's pretty popular online. So yeah, not much to say. I'll say also, like I said before, he is childhood friend of Henriette. I don't know if that's going to be an important thing in the future or not. But yeah. Other than that, I don't really have a lot to say about a lot of the other characters. Oh, okay. I do want to talk about Frederica. I think she's the most interesting character in the what do they call it, the Federation. Yeah, I think it's the Federation. I think she's the most interesting character in the Federation. She's also undoubtedly my favorite character that's part of the Federation, which is introduced in Season 2. Okay. During my reactions, I've expressed confusion with her because I don't know exactly what they're going for. Like early on, when she was introduced, it was stated that like she was the last Empress, which is weird because she appears to be a child and she acts a lot like a child too. But this is anime that is common, And I think it was directly stated at one point that she's like 10 years old. So how is she the last empress when the frickin' empire fell 10 years ago? So, but later on it said that she was meant to be the future empress. So I am really confused about Frederica's character. A lot. But I really like her personality. I didn't at first, but it's another one of those where it grew on me a lot. I love how she's able to seamlessly swap between being like immature and being like very mature and very intelligent and very wise, like seemingly beyond her years. And yeah, she was one of my favorite. She ended up being one of my favorite things in season 2. All right, so I think those are all the characters I really wanted to discuss. So let's see here. We had Lena, we had Lev, we had Shinei, we had Frederica, we had Anju, and we had Karina, and we had Henriette. So, yeah, not much else to talk about though. Like, the series has a lot of characters, but like, most of them aren't worth talking about. Even a lot of the A6 that died. Like, I don't remember much about Daya, except that he was like a womanizer and seemingly had like a crush on Anju, it seemed like. I don't remember much about Kaie. I don't remember much about Haruto. Now, all of their deaths were sad, in spite of that, which, again, is a testament to the great writing in this series. You know. But yeah. And most of the frickin' Republic people are just one-dimensional scumbags, seriously. There's not much to say about most of them, okay? Frickin', especially after the frickin' Republic fell, they were reduced to frickin' poverty, and when they were being fed food, they had the audacity to complain that they weren't being given much, and that they should be treated fucking equally. Ooh, I wanted to fucking punch them so bad. But yeah, anyways, I think that's it for the notable characters that I wanted to talk about in this video, though. Overall, the series' characters were fantastic. Like, even like the one-dimensional villains, they served a purpose at least, which is still good writing, you know. Anyways, overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content in the future. Hit the notification bell if you want to know whenever I upload a new video, because I release new videos all the time, share it on other places on the internet, such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Try to get my channel more attention. And like always, comment on the video down below, because I help my channel out. Let me know your thoughts on this video and on this series, both the anime and the light novels if you read them. What were your thoughts on all the characters that I mentioned? Was there any other characters that I might have forgotten about that you thought I should have mentioned? What's your thoughts on my opinions? Do you have any opinions on these characters that I didn't voice in this video? And yeah, anyways, overall, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time.